What's going on, everybody? We are finally back to UFC fights after a long 3 weeks off that seemed like it lasted for a lot longer than that. So I'm going to get into all the bets I got for tomorrow. Before I do that, a couple of the rules I've come up with for betting, which I haven't been doing this very long, probably about 6 months now total, so it's always changing. This is what I got right now. I don't place any bet unless it's a minus 150 or better, because I want at least 2/3 of my money back, being that anything could happen with a sports bet. The other thing I do is I will parlay up to two things as long as that gets me even money. As you can see from the right-hand side, I'm not really betting a lot of money, so I'm keeping it small just so I can kind of learn as I go along. So that's that. I'm just going to go down this list. We'll start right there at the top. Lingo inside the distance, plus 150. Lingo's a minus 220 favorite, I believe. 225. That's fair, but for whatever reason, the odds are close about this going the distance, and I completely fucking disagree. Man, it's just probably... Lingo is the better striker. Kilburn can kind of compete there, but the grappling is dog shit with Kilburn. Lingo's not great, but when you're fighting someone with dog shit grappling, it's a pretty easy neutralizer for anything they're going to do. So I got Lingo in the distance. I got a unit on that. Plus 150, potentially winning $15. Next, I got one of my first parlays, Dusko money line and Amiv money line. Amiv money line, probably a little wider than it should be. Probably should be a little closer, but I do think he's going to be the clear winner there. Dusko is the riskier side of that, but I do think first of all, he's a much better gas tank than Soriano, that's the driving point behind picking him, really. I think he's a really smart fighter. He's probably not going to excite you too much throughout his career, but he does what he needs to do to win, and I love that from a betting perspective. Dusko was Dusko was minus, what was he, minus 160, minus 155, I think I got him at parlay with Amiv at minus 260. Altogether was plus 130. Next, we got Mello money line. Got it at plus 187. I see money's coming in. Since then, she's down to like plus 160-ish. I'm sorry, she's like plus 180, so money's not coming in too strong on her, but it is coming in. Like I said in my previous video, what the strong grappling girls could do to Mello, more eyes can't do. If anything, this fight should be more of a pick'em. So with almost twice my money back, I took a shot at Mello. 1 unit. 2.5 units for that parlay also, which is also part of my strategy. I don't go any higher than 2.5 units. Next, Wu Yanan or Yanan Wu. I'm not really sure which fucking order that name is, but the Asian girl, I'm picking her at minus 110. Man, what's up with the fucking hype on Edwards here? I don't get it. She sometimes throws fast hands, but they're not. Everyone thinks she's so good with her hands. She's fast at throwing hands. Wu is super durable when it comes to taking punishment, and I've seen Edwards be pretty neutralized by people just clinching against her, and Wu is pretty good at doing that. So I think the books had this right when this opened up at minus 250 or whatever for Wu, but Love came in on Edwards, so, thank you for the better deal. I probably wouldn't have betted otherwise. I should have waited a little longer because I see she's even a better deal now. She may even end up being plus money before fight time, but that's what that is. Anyway, Condit and Brown not going the distance. This is my most confident card. This is my most confident pick on this card. They're both older. They both have a tendency of being finished. They both tend to... Well, Brown tends to gas out. Carlos, not so much. The way they talk to their media day interviews, they really just want to fuck each other up. I think there's such a small chance of this going to a decision. So I got my max units there, 25, minus 135. Favorite bet of this card. If I didn't in the past go too heavy on spots and make that rule for myself, I probably would end up putting more on that. And also Brown looked pretty weird in his weigh-in. He looked like he was a little wobbly, maybe a bad weight cut, maybe what he did to cut weight when he was a little younger, now that he's past 40, was harder than he expected. I think this fight is finishing. I think Condit is going to be the one to finish it, but if it's Brown, great. Someone's finishing that fight. Next, going along with that, basically everything I just said, but I think Condit's going to be the one to finish him. I think he's going to get a guillotine choke in third round. Don't bet that. Bet inside the distance. Anything can happen, but I really think what's going to happen is Condit is going to win by a late sub. So that is a perfect example of why you should want to bet early if you can, because that opened at plus like 350 and now it's down to plus 165. So could have got an insanely better deal there, but yeah, 1.5 units there. Maybe we'll drop it down to 1. Probably 1.5 though. All right, the next I'm gonna go. I split 1.5 units between the one at the end and this next one. Buckley and Chirico to go the distance, and Lee and Pons to go the distance. So we'll start right here with Buckley and Chirico. Who did Buckley knock out that has been proven durable in the UFC? He knocked out Impa Kasaganai, who had one fight against a questionable guy before that. He knocked out Jordan Wright, who debuted in the UFC off of an undefeated regional record, which who really gives a shit? It's not the world class level if you're undefeated at a regional level. So I think there's just so much hype behind Buckley just with those two knockouts. I mean, obviously the one against Impa was the coolest fucking thing ever, but that doesn't mean that happens every fucking fight. And I think Chirico is a very tough guy. I don't think he's going to be able to win this fight, but I think Buckley will not be able to finish him. I think Buckley will outpoint him. He's either going to get a 30 to 27 unanimous decision, or maybe like one judge that way and a few for 29-28. But I think he will get a unanimous decision, and that's going into, I got 0.5 on him by decision. So that was what? Plus 125 for him by decision, plus 230 because everyone thinks he's going to get a knockout for Buckley. Plus 230, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Plus 230 for Buckley by decision, plus 125 for just generally going the distance. So I'm covered in case Chirico does win there. Next part with that was the Lee Pons going the distance. First of all, I don't really understand why everybody and their mom is parlaying Ponzinibbio. He's coming off of like almost dying from like some crazy diseases, and he hasn't fought in 2 years, and he's 34. What makes you so confident in him going to win that you're going to parlay him to only make 30% of your money at minus whatever it is, past minus 300 at this point now, I believe? That's crazy to me, but I hope he gets it done for you. I think this fight's going to be way closer than these lines are going to think. People seem to be sleeping on Lee. He's super tough, and he's a decent fighter too. I think Pons is probably in general a better fighter, but I mean, for this to be that much of a differential in these odds is pretty crazy to me. So I'm not really picking a side there, but I do think this is going to go the distance. So I split that 1.5 between the other fight and this one, 750 each or 0.75 units. Both of those to go the distance. I think at least one of those will. Alright, so going back down, Lingo and Kilburn do not go the distance. This is kind of partnered with the first bet. Just in case some shit happens, Kilburn wins, I'm covered. I don't think I think this is just going to be a fucking brawl, Eventually, someone's going to get finished here, so I'm pretty confident in there. I got 2 units on it, minus 125. Next one is an interesting bet that I only seen on this new book I've started using, and it's if the fight goes to the distance, you get refunded, but you're choosing, other than that, who would win inside the distance. So, I got Carlos Felipe, minus 140, 2 units on that. Felipe has a fucking iron chin. I've seen it tested so many times when I watch tape on the guy. Tafa, not so much. Matter of fact, he just got first round knocked out not too long ago by Jorge de Castro, the guy that Felipe beat to a decision pretty decisively. So yeah, I'll be fucking shocked if Tafa finishes Felipe. Tafa may win by a decision, weirdly, but as far as if someone's going to finish it, Felipe. Next, Amid by decision. Pretty straightforward. That's how I see this fight going. He's a decision machine. I know he wants to start not finish. I think Zawada's a pretty good competition for him to not be able to finish. It's not like they're just giving him some scrub that he can just run through. But I do think he's going to be able to wrestle him and control him, whatnot, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Minus 110 was worth a unit. I think that's the clear path to almost get not double, my money back on the bet. Next, Dusko inside the distance. Did I? I did not. Okay. Yeah, this is basically Dusko has a great gas tank and a great pace, and he fights really smart, and Soriano tends to gas. And I think what's going to happen is Soriano's going to get so tired he does something stupid, and Dusko's going to capitalize on it, whether it's finishing him with a ground and pound or a submission is more likely, honestly, which is some crazy odds on that if you want to take a shot. I don't. I got Dusko inside the distance, however he does it, plus 160, a unit on that. And lastly, I got one more parlay, and that's Dusko and Soriano to go over 1.5 rounds at minus 170, I think. And Lee and Pons to go over 1.5 rounds at minus 210. I'm pretty sure that Lee and Pons is going to go over 1.5 rounds just for the reasons I said earlier. Dusko and Soriano over 1.5 rounds. I think it's possible Dusko will finish it close to that, but I think Soriano will be at least able to survive there. So it's a little bit risky, but I put 1 unit on it. It's plus 137. So not a bad look. So that's all my bets. Good luck to everybody. I got a total of 19 units on betting and a potential 21 unit profit. Obviously, I'm not going to hit everything. That would be crazy, and you should worship me if I do. But I'm not. As long as I get a 10 to 20% profit, I'm pretty happy. So, good luck tomorrow. I will make another video after tomorrow, updating how everything went, my thoughts on it, and whatnot. So, that's it. Enjoy.